we are going to give you three archaeological facts. The Bible is true.
Well, here's the proof in the pudding.
So the first find, and I think this is so cool. I am
really
just
cool.
fascinated by this one. So this is the rock of Horeb. And to give you a little history on it, so the Israelites have left Pharaoh, right? They were in the desert wandering and wandering and wandering. And God had provided from them from day one. And they complained and God provided. As you were saying, we were talking about this morning, right?
I mean, the whole way, we're talking 40 years.
Yeah.
And God has provided everything they needed.
Yeah.
The whole time.
The whole time.
Yeah.
So they go for 3 days without water. And of course, the Israelites are just complaining. And Moses prays to God, and God tells him to strike this specific rock, and water will flow out of this rock.
Right.
Now I'm not talking like a little trickle or a stream. I'm talking millions of gallons, because you need to understand there was over 2 million people between women and children, and that's not including the cattle and the livestock they had. They had to give water for a bunch of people.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of water coming out of this rock.
Yeah.
So since you're the research girl, you did research.
I love research.
You love research. So why don't you give us some historical or proof that this is the rock?
Well, here's the proof in the pudding. Right?
Proof in the pudding.
Well, I mean, first of all, you got to imagine. So you're trying to give enough water to over 2 million people. So, I mean, they found that the water that came out of this rock was ocean depth.
Yeah.
So we're talking a lot of that's a lot of water. So, but what's interesting is where they were at and where they find this rock is in this valley, which is perfect for this rushing water to go down there. And the rock itself is 50 feet high. So this is a huge rock.
It's a big rock.
On top
kind of like a focal point.
Well, yeah, and it's on top of 100-foot hill.
So it's a focal,
I mean, we're talking. There's a picture of this guy that's in front of this rock, and I mean, he looks like an ant.
Yeah.
So it's a huge rock, has this perfect split in it, perfect split for water, and this is the only rock in this area. I mean, it's the only one of this magnitude in this area. And all of the rocks below this Mount of Horeb are smooth from the water flowing.
So when we look at a rock, it's like, it's a rock. It's really cool looking. But the scientists look at it in a whole different way.
Oh, yeah.
So they'll look at that rock and go, oh, wow, the rock is smooth and the other rocks are jagged. So water must have flown here.
Right. And I think you'll find that a lot as we tell a lot of these stories about these archaeology finds.
We could not say that word.
Both of us are like
We're like stumped on that. Archaeologicals. Never mind. I'm not going to. Okay. You say the word. I'll say
archaeological finds.
Yes.
There's some really interesting facts that really only geologists would be able to point out because we would just walk over it and go, huh.
There's a little white ball there, which we're going to tell you in just a minute what it was.
What that is in a minute.
That's a white ball.
Yeah.
That's so what?
No biggie.
No biggie. Number 2. And I know that you have all heard the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. Just to refresh
I've never heard that story.
You have
Please
too.
Refresh me.
You did a video on Sodom and Gomorrah, so I know you heard of it. Boy, talk about you're getting old. Short-term memory.
That's it.
What?
I'll tell the story.
Okay.
I'm excited.
I know, but you're interrupting. Okay, so Sodom and Gomorrah had grown really wicked with just sexual perversion and just wicked. And so God was saying, I'm going to destroy it. So if you remember the conversation between God, or it was Jesus, they think, because of an angel, but he talked with authority. So they believe it was Jesus and Abraham. And Abraham says, for 50 people, don't destroy the city. And he goes, okay, I won't destroy the city. So Abraham and God are negotiating. right? And they get all the way down to 10 people. Not 10 righteous were found in this city. And it was a big city.
This is a big city.
This is a big city.
Yeah.
I mean, big. So 10 were not found. So God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah with brimstone.
Yeah.
Now, what's really interesting to me, and Kim's going to tell you more about this, they found brimstone, right? Or sulfur.
Spoiler alert.
Okay. So, spoiler. So they found sulfur balls, only in this area. I mean, they're nowhere else to be found.
Yeah.
And since Kim is our resident for facts, tell us more about it. I want some proof. Well, I'm a disbelieving person. Prove it.
Here's the proof.
Okay, give me the proof.
First of all, it does say fire and brimstone rained down.
Right.
And brimstone in the dictionary really means sulfur.
Sulfur.
So first of all, we have sulfur raining from the sky. That's proof
kind of freaky
right there, right?
In the first place.
Also, what's super interesting, so the geologists are roaming around in this area and they're surveying the land.
Mm-hmm.
And they're finding ash. They're finding levels of ash that are only in this area.
Of burnt.
But what's interesting, one of the things that's interesting, is that there's a cemetery that's completely burned out. You can see where all of the burial grounds were, the holes. There's like millions of these holes all over that are burnt out. And what's interesting about that is that why would a war burn out dead people?
Right.
You know, if they had a war there and that's what demolished it, why would they do that?
Why would they go
in
after
a cemetery?
Right. Makes sense.
It was proof to the geologists that this was burnt out,
targeted
from a giant bomb or something, fire. So also what's interesting is that a lot of these sulfur balls that came down were snuffed out in the Red Sea, Dead Sea. And so they were able to find these as the water receded. The balls are stuck in the sediments on the side, and there's only in this area. And so they were able to take those balls and you light them on fire and they burn like melting. They kind of remind me of
gooey.
Yeah, they're just super gooey, and like if you touched it, you wouldn't be able to put it out. You know,
napalm.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but this is the only area they've been able to find these sulfur balls.
And what's just amazing to me is that these balls, they date back to thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
And you can take that ball today and light it on fire.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's so amazing to me is it's like, you got to ask yourself, there's no volcano.
Right.
And even if it was a volcano, it would be lava. It would be done. It would be over.
Right.
Where did these come from?
And the geologists didn't find any kind of weapons of war.
Yeah.
Again, so they knew that this was not a war going on or anything like that. And it does say in the Bible that this place would never be dwelled in ever again. I believe it's in Psalm that says that.
The curse.
Well, God said.
God said, and it happened.
Yeah.
Are you ready for the last? Are you guys ready for the last one? The last one.
Mm-hmm.
This, again, it just, I mean, if you read this story and what the scientists, I would say geologists, I said it.
Good job.
Did I say
No,
archaeologists?
Archaeologists.
Okay, I said archaeologists. If you read the story and you see what they find, I don't know how you could not, with an open mind, say, there might be something to this Bible. I am sure that you have all heard the story of Moses and Pharaoh, how, the Israelites were captured and they were slaves for a very long time. Was it, I'm guessing, I can't remember. 400. I was going to say 400-ish years.
Yeah.
And God wanted them out of slavery. So he told Moses and Aaron to go to the Pharaoh and say, "Let my people go." You always heard that song.
Yeah.
Let my people go.
Yeah.
Right. In the negotiations of God hardening Pharaoh's heart. And that's a whole nother topic which we're going to make a video on, which is really interesting. Really, really interesting. Watch out for it. God caused these plagues on the Pharaoh and his people. And I mean, they were frogs, flies, locusts, boils. Yeah. I mean, just bad plagues. And the Pharaoh said, no, 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 no. So finally, after the plague of the firstborn, where God, the angel of death, killed all the firstborn, and including Pharaoh's son, Pharaoh says, get out, just get out of here. So all the people, again, 2 million plus over cattle, over 2 million, set an expedition or a trek to go to the promised land. And on their way, they came to the Red Sea, which was impassable. I mean, you know,
obviously
it was bad. It was a sea. So it's like, oh no. Okay. And then the Pharaoh said, wait a minute. I changed my mind. Right. I'm going to go get those guys and bring them back. So you can picture this. It's like the movie Dunkirk, where, you know, where the Germans has pushed the English people right back to the English Channel. They couldn't cross the English Channel, and the Germans were coming to kill them. If you haven't seen Dunkirk, great movie. Really good movie. Not a plug, but it's a true story. So you can imagine that's the same scenario. I mean, Moses and 2 million people are at the Red Sea going, oh no, what are we going to do? Because there's a cloud of smoke and dust over there, and Pharaoh's coming to get me.
Yeah.
So God parted the Red Sea, and all the people and the cattle started to move into the Red Sea. And as they were going, the Pharaoh and his chariots and horses followed them into the sea, thinking, hey, this is cool. This is a thing. We're going to go get them. And you were saying that even as the people weren't even out on the other side of the Red Sea. The sea closed in on the Pharaoh.
Yeah, God says it's closing in before they're even out.
Right.
But he protected them, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
Kim, I'm an unbeliever. I want proof that the Red Sea actually happened.
You know what? This is a good point. I know that. This is a good point, is that when I was doing a lot of this research, that's what a lot of atheists want to prove. They want to prove the Bible's wrong.
Right.
So a lot of these facts, they're like, well, it was probably this that happened. You know, they can't point towards God. But anyways, so what's interesting about this is that, you know, if you look in the Bible, in Exodus, it tells you that they were funneling down and they were trapped with mountains behind them, plus the Pharaoh. But they had to have enough room to get these over 2 million people and cattle down into the Red Sea. So they had to funnel down to this one area and to this beach that's called Nueva Beach. And it's the only beach that's big enough for this many people and cattle to go down. And so sure enough, that's where they crossed. This is where they found some wheels from the chariots. And there's all different, and also there were like 600 chariots that the Pharaoh sent out.
Now they're finding this.
So it's not like, 5 or 6 chariots. It's like 600 chariots.
In the bottom of the Red Sea.
And there's wheels that they have found in the bottom of the Red Sea that are growing coral and stuff. And I mean, and think about it. Now here's another thing, is that the water, when it was parted, they believe that where they crossed, there's actually a little bit of a land bridge where they actually crossed. And that water was 900 feet deep.
Imagine 900 feet deep.
900
That's like going,
feet
wow, you know?
That's a lot of water.
Yeah.
So anyways,
there's no escaping 900 feet of water.
No, that's exactly God's point.
Yeah.
So they find all of those chariot wheels, but they also, when they were excavating all of this, they found like horse bones in there, along with human bones.
Yeah.
But horse bones also, and just spread out from here to there, shore to shore, there's all these things. And then also what's interesting is that the Bible tells us in 1 Kings that Solomon had set up 2 columns to commemorate this Red Sea crossing.
That's cool.
And they've actually found those 2 columns, one on each side. One was kind of worn away, but the other one on the other side had Hebrew writing on them that said, "Glory to God."
Wow.
How much more
How much proof do you need, right? I mean, come on, people. How much proof do you want?
Right.
Other than Moses popping out of the water and going, hey, it's me, I did cross this. They probably would.
Can you imagine?
Atheists would.
It was probably just, I just can't even imagine the magnitude of the whole situation. You know, amazing.
Amazing. Well, those are three really stories that prove the Bible is true. And you know,
I don't know how you can't prove
I just don't know. If you go at it with an open heart and a mind of, okay, you know, let me entertain this. Could it possibly be true? And if you went into it with that kind of a heart, I don't know how you could not say there's some validity to the Bible that I need to kind of research a little bit.
Right.
So maybe if that part of the Bible is true, you know, the part about Jesus is true.
Right.
I mean, why would they tell lies about some things and not others?
Right. Good point.
Think about it.
Think about it. Let me close it up.
She is the closer.
I'm the closer.
Not like the TV show, but she is the closer.
What is that?
There's a TV show. I think there is.
Don't they like clean up messy parts or something?
I don't
Murders or something
I was
like
going
that.
to say, I don't think they're
they're not
garbage men.
Garbage men. Anyway.
I don't know. I don't watch it, so I don't know.
All right. So anyways, you guys, there are so many more finds in the Bible that we just loved researching for this part. So we'll probably do another video on them because there's some amazing things out there that
it is amazing.
I want you to try and prove me wrong.
Whoa.
In the comments.
I think that's a gauntlet. I mean, there's a gauntlet right there.
Bring it up.
Through the gauntlet. Bring it on.
Bring it on.
Now, I didn't say that. So she said it. So she's going to have to answer all the questions.
I want to hear it. I do. Anyways, we hope you guys enjoyed this video and we will see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye. So archaeologists. So archaeologists. I cannot say archaeologists.
Archaeologists.
So archaeologists.